Okay, let's take a deep dive today to a source with a really compelling promise. It's about unlocking personal breakthrough by harnessing the power that's already inside you. The book we're looking at is called Close Your Eyes, Get Free. And it presents a pretty fascinating perspective on how we create our reality.
It really does. And the core idea right at the start is that freedom, like true freedom from limitations, old habits, stress,
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't really begin with just willpower or conscious effort. It starts much deeper in the subconscious
Your
mind.
subconscious,
Yeah,
yeah. The book calls it the actual blueprint for how your whole personality works. It's where all that unseen stuff lives, right? Your core beliefs, deep emotions, automatic habits, values, those instant protective reactions you have, your imagination, even intuition.
exactly. It's kind of running the show,
Yeah.
often completely beneath the surface. You're not even aware of it most of the time.
Right.
And if that blueprint is, let's say, holding you back, trying to change with just conscious effort, it feels like trying to repaint a house without fixing the foundation first.
That's a great analogy.
So this deep dive is really about unpacking the key insights from the source on how a tool like self-hypnosis might actually help you access that blueprint and
Yeah.
potentially rewrite parts of it to transform things.
Because let's be honest, we've all been there, trying to just think our way out of a bad habit or just gritting our teeth with willpower. And sometimes that works, sure. But this source makes a strong case that for the really deep, lasting changes, you kind of need a way to influence that subconscious level directly.
Which, yeah, immediately brings up the word
Oh,
hypnosis.
definitely.
And for a lot of people, that word is loaded. It comes with baggage.
Absolutely. My mind jumps straight to Hollywood. Like, Now You See Me Too, people being manipulated.
No.
Or Office Space, where the guy gets stuck under hypnosis. Shallow Hal completely changing perception. Even the scary stuff in Get Out. And then there are the stage shows, right? People clucking like chickens or doing weird things.
Yeah, the book tackles those myths head on. It makes it really clear. Hypnosis is not mind control.
Okay.
The book kind of jokes, if it was, hypnotherapists would all own islands by now.
Ah, good point.
And those people on stage, they're volunteers. Often they're naturally highly suggestible, and subconsciously they're actually willing to go along with it to entertain. You simply won't do anything under hypnosis that fundamentally goes against your core values or what you truly want.
Okay, so if it's not that mystical mind-bending stuff, what is it really, according to this source?
Well, the clearest definition they offer is that it's a completely natural state, something we all drift in and out of every single day.
Huh, really?
Think of it like meditation with a goal or a specific purpose.
Mutation with a goal. Okay.
It's just a state of focused, relaxed concentration. And a key point here is that pretty much everyone with average cognitive function can be hypnotized.
Meditation with a goal. That really grounds it. Makes it sound much less like something being done to you.
Exactly. It's much less passive than people think. And that's why clinical hypnosis, the kind used for healing and change, is often, well, frankly, quite boring to watch compared to stage shows.
Right. No drama.
No drama, no swinging watches usually. Though the book does mention that back in 1843, James Braid, who coined the term, did use things like that. But it was mainly just to help tire the eyes,
Yeah.
and encourage relaxation.
And speaking of Braid in 1843, he unfortunately named it after Hypnos, the Greek god of sleep.
Yes, and that's caused so much confusion ever since.
Right.
Hypnosis is not sleep. Your brain waves are different. You don't wake up from it. You just return to your normal waking state. If someone seems to nod off in a session, they were probably just tired and, well, took a nap.
That makes a lot more sense. Okay, so if it's this natural focus state, how can it actually be powerful enough to create real change, like deep change?
Yeah, that's where the stories and the science come in. And the book shares some really powerful examples, like the story of Alexandre. He was a UN staff member from Brazil.
Oh, I remember reading that one. Incredible story. He had partial paralysis after a traumatic event in Syria.
That's the one. Hospitalized for months, paralyzed on one side, couldn't move it. Conventional medicine wasn't helping restore movement.
And he was skeptical about hypnotherapy, wasn't it?
Very skeptical, saw it as a last resort. But in a session, the hypnotherapist was just guiding him to imagine this golden energy flowing down his left side, focusing on a positive mindset. And before she even finished the sentence, his finger, the one that hadn't moved in 2 months, it just twitched.
Wow, goosebumps.
He felt sensation return.
So it wasn't like a physical thing they did, it was an internal shift.
Precisely. The book really emphasizes this. Nothing external changed for Alexandre in that moment. It was a shift in his internal state, his mindset, accessing and influencing that subconscious blueprint.
And the amazing thing is, it's not just for these extreme cases.
No, not at all. The book makes that clear. It gives examples of people using it for, everyday things. A stressed parent finally overcoming insomnia.
Or a teenager improving their SAT scores.
Exactly. The range is huge.
The historical context was surprising, too, using it for anesthesia.
Yeah, before chemical anesthesia became common around 1846, people like John Elliott and James Braid, they performed hundreds of surgeries, dental procedures, just using hypnosis.
Wow. And for soldiers with shell shock and WWI.
They did use it then, yes. Though the book notes it was often more of a quick fix just to get them back to the front lines, not necessarily focused on deep, long-term healing back then.
A darker side to its early use.
Definitely. But modern science is really starting to validate it more and more. The book cites studies, like one from Harvard Medical School, showing hypnosis might speed up bone healing by like 40%.
40% faster. That's significant.
And another study on IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, where 76% of patients reported significant improvement in their symptoms using hypnotherapy.
It's not just clinical settings either. The list of famous people who've reportedly used it is kind of amazing.
It is. Thomas Edison for creativity and problem solving, Albert Einstein. James Earl Jones used it to overcome a severe stutter.
Tiger Woods for his golf game, Princess Diana for fear of public speaking.
Ben Affleck reportedly used it to quit smoking. Lots of Olympic athletes for performance enhancement.
It's remarkable how all these different uses seem to tap into that same core idea, accessing and influencing the subconscious.
Exactly. And the book suggests this is really just scratching the surface. It's expanding into medicine, dentistry, even corporate wellness program.
Okay, so the potential seems really clear. But if our subconscious is this powerful blueprint, why does it so often get programmed in ways that actually hold us back? How does that even happen?
That's a huge question, and the book really digs into it. It starts with this fundamental idea. Even habits we think are negative. The subconscious often believes it's doing something helpful. It thinks it's protecting you or serving some function.
So it's not trying to be malicious, it's just misguided.
Often, yes. Misguided programming built up through repetition or maybe intense emotional events. And the book points to a few key sources for this programming.
Okay.
One is something it calls groupthink.
Groupthink.
Yeah.
How does that program you subconsciously?
Well, it's not just about consciously wanting to fit in. It's deeper. It's like your ancient survival programming kicking in. Your subconscious believes that belonging to the tribe, fitting in with the group, is essential for safety. Survival, basically.
Right.
And sometimes that deep need can actually override your conscious goals for success or health, if those goals seem to conflict with the norms or perceived limits of your group.
Wow. Like limiting your own success so you don't, say, out-earn your parents,
Oh.
or finding it hard to break unhealthy family patterns.
Exactly, that kind of thing. It's subtle but powerful. The need to belong potentially limiting your own potential.
That's a deep insight. What else shapes the blueprint?
Elders, especially during those really crucial early years. The book stresses that before the age of about 7, a child's brain is primarily operating in a theta brainwave state.
Theta state. What does that mean, practically?
It's the same brain state associated with deep relaxation, vivid imagination,
Yeah.
and, critically, heightened suggestibility.
Ah.
Little kids are basically like sponges. They're wide open, absorbing beliefs about the world, especially from authority figures, parents, teachers. Their minds are just naturally wired then to accept information without much critical filtering.
That reminds me of Jill's story in the book, her nail-biting habit.
Yes, traced all the way back to a seemingly small, critical comment from a teacher when she was little.
That authority figure's words just landed right in that open subconscious state and stuck there for years.
Absolutely. And it's why the book mentions hypnotherapists are generally advised not to work on their own parents. It's just incredibly hard to get past that deeply ingrained authority programming. And it highlights how the way authority figures speak matters so much. The example of a doctor saying, "This might hurt a little."
Versus saying you may feel some pressure.
Right. The subconscious, especially when suggestible, often just latches onto the negative or loaded word like hurt, triggering anxiety.
It's fascinating how just a few words can have that direct physical and emotional impact.
Shows how receptive the subconscious is, doesn't it? Especially early on. And the third major source of programming discussed is the media.
Ah, yes. Movies, TV, advertising. The source suggests these can be almost hypnotic.
They really can, because they often bypass what the book calls the critical factor of the conscious mind.
The critical factor, what exactly is that?
Think of it like the analytical gatekeeper of your conscious mind. It questions, it judges, it filters information based on what you already believe.
Okay.
But when you're relaxed or really absorbed, like watching a captivating movie, that gatekeeper is less active. Your conscious mind knows it's just a movie, right?
Yeah.
But your subconscious, which struggles sometimes to tell the difference between real and vividly imagined experiences. It absorbs the emotional stuff directly. If you cry at a sad scene, your subconscious registers actual heartbreak. If you're gripped by a thriller, it processes genuine stress.
That Fiji study the book mentions really illustrates that powerfully.
It does. Adolescent girls, suddenly exposed to Western TV. They quickly developed eating disorders. Why? Because they were constantly comparing themselves, absorbing these ideals subconsciously.
Yeah, comparing their bodies, their lives.
Compare that to the story of Nana, growing up in, I think it was Belfast in 1917. No glossy magazines, no TV. Her subconscious wasn't getting bombarded with images telling her what she should look like or what possessions she lacked, compared to some manufactured ideal.
So the media we consume isn't passive entertainment at all.
Not according to this view. It's actively shaping that subconscious blueprint. The book says, you vote with your time and money every time you choose what to watch or read.
Which leads right into the next really crucial point the book makes. Taking back your power.
Yes. And the fundamental first step toward mental freedom, it argues, is taking radical responsibility.
Responsibility for your actions. The source is really direct about this. Blaming others might feel, I don't know, easier sometimes. But it's essentially giving away your personal power. Taking responsibility, even if something wasn't entirely your fault, it claims that power back.
You can almost feel the energy shift, can't you? Between saying, my boss is impossible, and, okay, this is the situation. What's my responsibility here? How do I navigate this?
Yeah, that internal shift from blame to agency. It feels foundational.
And the book pushes it further. It asks you to really look at your daily actions. Are they contributing to the world you say you want? Are they building conflict or peace, abundance or lack?
Oof, that's a challenging question. Are my actions actually aligned with the world I want to live in?
It's about actively building it, not just wishing for it.
And the book highlights something that comes even before actions and often gets in the way of our thoughts.
Yes, they're conscious thoughts. The book suggests they're like a constant record player.
Okay.
And what's playing reveals your subconscious programming. It reveals the dominant story your mind is telling itself about who you are, how the world works. To fundamentally change your life, you have to change that underlying story. Because every time you repeat the old story, you just make it stronger.
This idea that thoughts don't just describe reality, but actually create it, that's powerful.
Yeah, the book gives that example. Two people, similar backgrounds. One habitually thinks endless opportunities and tends to find them. The other thinks no opportunities and genuinely sees none, even in the exact same environment.
It's like the frequency you're tuned into.
Exactly. The lens you view the world through based on that subconscious story. And the book offers some simple thought math.
Thought math, okay.
Positive plus positive equals progress. Makes sense.
Right.
Negative plus negative equals going backward. Also makes sense. But the one that trips people up, positive plus negative equals neutrality. Stagnation.
Ah, neutrality. So you could be doing all the right things consciously, trying to think positive, take positive steps.
But if you've got that underlying negative self-talk, that old subconscious program running,
You're canceling yourself out.
you're neutralizing your own progress. It really shows why taking responsibility isn't just for actions, but for managing your thoughts, too. Otherwise, you risk staying stuck or even going backward.
It really underlines the need to get to the root of those negative patterns, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Which brings us to the practical side. Okay, we understand about the subconscious, the programming. How does the book suggest you actually start changing the blueprint?
Well, it offers a very accessible starting point, a simple self-hypnosis process you can do yourself.
Okay, walk us through the basics. How does it work?
First, you just get quiet and notice your current stress level, say on a scale of 0 to 10. Just become aware.
Establishing a baseline. Got it.
Exactly. Then take maybe 4 deep, slow breaths. Really focus on the breath. After that, you start counting down slowly from 10 down to 1. And with each number, you say silently to yourself, I am going deeper and deeper.
That sounds like a classic induction technique.
It is. It helps you relax, turn your focus inward. Then, once you feel relaxed and focused, you repeat a chosen hypnoaffirmation.
A hypnoaffirmation, okay.
It's basically a positive statement designed to sink into the subconscious. Examples the book gives are things like, I am safe, I am calm, I choose to be here. Or maybe, I release all negativity, my thoughts are positive, I embrace happiness, something like that. You repeat your chosen phrase about 10 times.
And repeating it helps bypass that critical factor we talked about.
That's the idea, letting it land directly in the subconscious. Then after the repetitions, eyes still closed, you take a moment to imagine, really feel yourself being how the affirmation describes. Feeling calm, feeling happy, feeling positive. Imagine carrying that feeling through the rest of your day.
So visualizing the positive outcome.
Right, immersing yourself in the feeling. And then you consciously choose to smile as you open your eyes. And maybe say something affirming out loud like, yes.
Okay.
Then you check your stress level again, notice any shift, however small. And the book adds, congratulate yourself, acknowledge you did it.
It sounds simple, almost deceptively so. But what about those affirmations? You mentioned they might need adjusting.
Yeah, this is a really important practical point. Say you try to use an affirmation like, I love myself.
Okay.
But deep down, your subconscious blueprint has a really strong belief that you don't love yourself or you're not worthy of love.
Your internal BS detector just goes off immediately.
Exactly. Your subconscious basically says, nope, don't believe it. And that resistance blocks the suggestion. The gap is just too big from where you are.
So what do you do?
The book advises starting gentler, more believable. So instead of, I love myself, maybe try something like, every day in every way, I am learning to love myself more and more.
Okay. That feels more gradual.
Right. It acknowledges the process, the journey. It plants the seed of progression in a way the subconscious can accept. Then as you practice and that belief starts to shift and strengthen, then you can maybe shorten it to the more direct, I love myself.
That's a brilliant tip. Meeting your subconscious where it is, not trying to force something, it just rejects outright.
Yeah. It's about working with it.
Now, the book uses this really helpful metaphor to visualize how all these different issues connect in the subconscious. The tree metaphor.
Oh, yeah, the tree metaphor.
Yeah.
It clarifies so much. So right at the bottom, hidden underground, are the root topics.
The roots, okay.
These are the really fundamental, deeply wired issues. Things like lack of self-love, lack of self-confidence, lack of self-worth. They're all interconnected. These are seen as the core drivers. And the key idea is heal the root and you heal the whole tree.
Okay, roots. Then you have the trunk topics.
Yep, the trunk acts like the conduit, the channel through which those root issues express themselves. Key trunk topics are things like stress, anxiety, negative thinking patterns.
Right.
And when stress or anxiety levels are high, those underlying root issues get amplified. They manifest much more visibly through the branches. The book also points out that stress itself can become a habit that tends to get worse, leading to tunnel vision, making us more self-focused.
And then finally, the parts we actually see, the limb topics.
Exactly. The branches and leaves. These are the specific habits or problems you consciously want to change. Things like smoking, nail biting, overeating, procrastination. These are the visible symptoms, the results of the deeper root and trunk issues.
So everyone might have similar roots, lack of self-love, worth, confidence, and similar trunk issues like stress.
Yeah, in varying degrees. But their specific limb issues, the outward habits, manifest uniquely for each person.
So focusing just on quitting smoking or stopping procrastination is like just trimming the leaves.
Pretty much. You might get temporary results. But if the root cause isn't addressed, the problem is likely to just pop up again, maybe in a different form. True change comes from healing those roots and managing the trunk issues.
Okay, let's look at some of those specific limb topics the book discusses. Procrastination, for example. It's not just laziness.
No, the book offers a different take. It's often rooted in a deep fear of failure.
Fear of failure.
Okay. And today, distractions are everywhere, right? They become enabling behaviors. But whether it's pure procrastination or just getting lost in distractions, the outcome is the same. You get less done.
Smoking is another big one.
Yeah, and the subconscious connection is key here. Often, it gets linked to some perceived benefit, even if it's totally illogical now. Like the author feeling tough or cool starting out. To quit effectively using this approach, you need to communicate to the subconscious that the habit is causing way more harm than good, and then replace whatever underlying need or association it was fulfilling.
And the book suggests it can be relatively quick sometimes.
Yeah, I mentioned smoking cessation often happens in just like 3 or 4 sessions when you target the subconscious directly, which which is pretty remarkable.
It really is. What about overeating or unhealthy eating?
Often linked to emotions, right?
Yeah.
Eating for comfort, out of boredom, maybe linked to feelings of love or reward from childhood.
Mm-hmm.
The book suggests a powerful reframing. Start viewing unhealthy food not just as bad for you, but as actual poison.
Poison, that sounds intense.
It is, but think about it. The subconscious mind's absolute #1 priority is keeping you safe, alive. So framing junk food as poison can trigger that powerful protective instinct. It also mentions aversion techniques, like vividly imagining something disgusting, like bugs on the junk food. It quickly changes the subconscious association from pleasure to repulsion.
Without creating, like, a food phobia.
Exactly. It targets the specific unhealthy craving. Julia's story in the book where she suddenly saw her pantry stash as poison and just cleared it out. It shows how fast that shift can happen.
Wow. And smaller things like nail biting or maybe eyelash pulling.
Often symptoms of deeper stuff, like
Yeah.
anxiety, like Jill's story showed with the teacher comment.
Right.
But the habit itself, the limb, can sometimes be interrupted surprisingly quickly once you bring awareness and subconscious work to it. Like Emma overcoming the eyelash pulling after just one session.
Okay, let's move back down the tree to those deeper root and trunk topics. Stress and anxiety, major trunk issues.
Yeah, described as a pervasive habit that really separates you from your best self, from clarity. The book makes a distinction. Taking responsibility for the habit of getting stressed is like a beginner tool.
Okay.
The more advanced understanding is realizing that much of what we perceive as stress isn't actually a real immediate threat right now.
Distinguishing real threat from perceived threat.
Exactly. And the subconscious tends to lump bad experiences. So one bad flight years ago can create anxiety about all flying now, even if consciously you want to travel.
Lack of self-confidence, that's listed as a root topic.
Yes. And it tends to spread, doesn't it?
Mm.
If you lack confidence in one area, you might start avoiding challenges, and gradually that avoidance can just drain the color from your whole life. The lacks of confidence tend to clump together, the book suggests.
And lack of self-worth, another root.
Often comes from comparison, right?
Yeah.
Constantly measuring yourself against others, grades, income, looks, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
The book offers this powerful reframe. Knowing, truly knowing, that you are just as good as everyone else, yet no better.
Just as good as, yet no better.
Yeah. It's not about arrogance or ego. It's about recognizing fundamental equality. It removes the basis for that destructive comparison and gives you a solid ground to stand on to pursue your goals.
And then the deepest root of all, lack of self-love.
This is presented as the bedrock. The argument is compelling. If you genuinely, completely loved yourself, truly cared for yourself at your core, most of the trunk issues like chronic stress and limb issues like unhealthy habits or procrastination, they'd likely just diminish significantly or even melt away.
Why?
Because that deep need for external validation or the drive to self-soothe with harmful habits, it just wouldn't have the same power.
It sounds maybe a bit woo-woo to some people.
It can sound that way,
Yeah.
but the source presents it as incredibly practical. Think about the analogy it uses. Loving a puppy, like a golden retriever named Sam.
Right. If you love Sam, you automatically want what's best for him. Good food, walks, you forgive his mistakes easily, you wouldn't intentionally feed him garbage or yell at him constantly.
Exactly. So the exercise suggested is try, just for one day, treating yourself with that same level of unconditional love and care you'd give Sam. Self-care stops being a chore or something you feel guilty about and becomes this natural expression of genuine self-value.
This whole journey seems very inward-focused, understanding the subconscious, healing the roots. But the book also brings in something outward, giving back.
Yes, giving back is presented as another crucial step towards mental freedom. Step 4, I think it was mentioned.
How does that fit in?
Well, the book points out pretty simply that one of the fastest ways to feel better yourself is often to stop focusing so intensely on yourself and your problems. Turn your focus outward. Help someone else.
And there's a neuroscience angle, too.
Yeah, neurons that fire together wire together, right?
Yeah.
If you're constantly dwelling on your problems, you're strengthening those neural pathways.
Making the problem loop stronger.
Exactly. But when you shift your focus to helping others, engaging in acts of service, you activate and strengthen different, more positive pathways in your brain. It literally changes your state by changing your focus.
It's a powerful reminder that while the work is internal, we don't exist in a vacuum.
No, we're interconnected. We need each other. And the book acknowledges, we can't always see our own blind spots. Seeking help, whether from a therapist or a trusted friend, is often a really important part of the process, too.
The book also touches briefly on something quite deep, past life regression.
Yeah, it mentioned as another tool, a fascinating one, that can sometimes uncover the source of really deep-seated issues or patterns, things that maybe haven't responded to other approaches, or even offer clues about your life's purpose.
That story about Colleen, the nurse with binge eating, that was striking.
It really was. During a session for weight loss, she spontaneously had this regression, this experience of a past life involving trauma related to starvation.
Which offered this potential deep source for her current binge eating that nothing else had uncovered.
Exactly. And the author shares her own experience, too. Feeling a past life regression was deeply significant for her, connecting to purpose, helping overcome addiction, fears like public speaking, smoking.
And the book makes the point that whether you believe these are literal past lives or maybe powerful metaphors created by the subconscious,
The healing and the insights gained from the experience itself can be incredibly real and transformative. That's the key takeaway.
the potential for breakthrough there, for getting right to the very root, seems, well,
It
immense.
really points to the vast, often untapped potential that lies within us.
Okay, so let's try and pull this all together. Summarize the key takeaways from this deep dive into close your eyes, get free.
Well, I think the core message is that hypnosis, especially self-hypnosis, isn't some weird fringe thing or mind control. It's presented as a natural, powerful tool, like that idea of meditation with a goal for real personal transformation. By working with your subconscious mind,
And the huge realization, really, is that the power for change, it's not out there somewhere. It resides within you. Guides, techniques, they help you access it. But you are the one doing the transforming, engaging with your own mind.
and it's reassuring, isn't it?
Uh-huh.
The idea that at your core, you're already whole, already perfect. The process isn't about fixing something broken. It's more like gently clearing away the layers of conditioning, the dust or dark spots that have built up over time on that perfect core.
And the path outlined towards that mental freedom involves, well, first, taking that radical responsibility for your actions and maybe even more importantly, for your thoughts.
Then understanding and addressing the root causes, especially that deep root of self-love, getting to the source, not just treating the symptoms.
And finally, expanding outward again, engaging with the world by giving back, shifting focus beyond yourself.
And the fact that tools like self-hypnosis recordings are so accessible now mean you can practice these techniques regularly, anytime, anywhere. That repetition is key for actually reprogramming that subconscious blueprint over time.
It really shifts the whole perspective, doesn't it?
Yeah.
From feeling kind of powerless against old habits or past experiences to understanding that you actually have the internal tools to essentially rewrite your own story.
Absolutely. The sense of agency it offers is probably the most striking thing. You're not just at the mercy of old programming. You can consciously choose to influence it.
Which leads us to, I guess, the final provocative thought for you, the listener, to consider. Given this incredible potential for individual transformation just by understanding and working with our own subconscious minds, imagine the possibilities if this became more widespread. What if a critical mass of people really committed to this inner journey?
Yeah. Taking responsibility for their inner world, healing those roots of self-love, consciously choosing thoughts and actions.
What kind of collective world could we create together then? A world built really from the inside out, something to think about.